person or anything that you, an affirmation that you tell yourself on a regular basis that encourages you, that keeps you up, that, that makes you wake up in the morning to start with, right? That makes you wake up in the morning. It could be anything. It could be like the simplest of affirmations, but I just want us to share what it is that we use to keep ourselves going. So if anybody can go first, just tell us any affirmations that comes to mind. Just put it down there. Any affirmation that comes to mind, just put it down there. I will start. Very simple. I am worth it. That's it. I am worth it. Yes, I am great. I will succeed. I am enough. I am enough. I like that one. I am enough.
There's only one me. I want to keep it that way.
There's only one me. Thank you very much. In fact, if you can't type, I will type it for you. There is only one me. Yes. Yes. I mean, we're welcome to unmute ourselves and just share. If you think you're more comfortable to speak, just share it. Yes, girl, God has given you all it takes. Go for it. I like that one. I like that one too. More. Keep it coming. Let's have like 3 or 4 more before we get into the nitty-gritty of the evening. Okay. Are we ready? More. I want to see. Thinking of all the little blessings in my life, grateful for every smile, every cup of coffee, and every raindrop. Thank you, Nufsaid. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Nufsaid, thank you so much. I am strong and can achieve anything with God on my side, for sure. Yes. Okay, I got it right. Thank you. I got it right. Okay. That was nice. Just trying to get us in the mood. I was made by a God who makes no mistakes. Tell me, preach. Preach it. It is another beautiful day. Thank you, Lord, for sure. Yes. For one, the gift of a new day cannot be overemphasized. That we wake up every day is an opportunity for us to win. It's an opportunity for us to get going again. It's an opportunity for us to learn and grow and be better at everything that we're doing. So for sure. The queenness in me is me. Yes. Okay, that was nice. Round of applause for everybody. Round of applause. Round of applause. All right. Let's get into it. I would like us to know more about WinTech. We know we are all members of WinTech. There's some of us here that probably are not members yet, probably joined, not members of WinTech, but joined the call. I would like to introduce Wendy to introduce WinTech to us. Now, a brief about Wendy. Wendy is fondly called Chilove, but I like to call her Wendy anyways. I don't know. She's an award-winning professional with over 12 years experience in tech space. She's currently a senior agile business analyst with one of the biggest logistics companies in North America. And she's a project manager for Black Tech. She's the brilliant mind behind WinTech. Yes, she is the founder of WinTech. She's the convener of WinTech. She has a passion and vision to reduce the gender inequality in tech and has collaboratively worked with others, including corporate bodies, to deliver programs for the advancement of women in tech. Now, all these efforts, everything she has done so far has definitely been recognized, and she has received some very, very, prestigious awards. She won the Community Champion Award by YMCA. She won the Innovation Award by Canada Vendors and the Women in Tech Excellence Award by Remarkable Women Incorporated, and many more. Wendy has a degree in computer science and she has a master's degree in human capital management. I mean, that's why she's the best at handling people. She has beautiful people skills, honestly, and her specialty includes business development, planning, coordination, agile, strategy, transformation, and content creation. Did you guys know Wendy has a YouTube channel? Wendy has a YouTube channel with over 50,000 subscribers. Go and check it out. She's doing great things. She has multiple certifications in human resources, business analysis, Scrum. She's a product owner, ITIL, name it, Wendy has it, right? of course, in her spare time, she loves to spend time with her family, with her husband and the kids and all of that. And she definitely loves to be in the midst of women. So allow me to welcome Wendy. Round of applause for Wendy. She's going to tell us she's going to tell us about WinTech and, all the reason behind why we're here today. Okay.
Oh my God, I don't mind. You are just making me like, I'm feeling shy already.
Don't be shy. It's you.
It's okay. It's fine. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. I appreciate you for that. And please, guys, please pardon me if my voice is sounding somehow. I'm under the weather, just trying to manage myself. So please, permit me to sound as I am sounding right now. All right. Are we ready? I can just see few people right in the room that their cameras are on. Please, can we turn on our camera if you're here? We would like to see you. We would like to connect with you. Okay. On that note, I'm going to use this opportunity to take this moment to welcome everyone joining us for today's section. Your presence is greatly appreciated. We love you. We appreciate you for joining. And we know that you are absolutely here to gain value and also incite knowledge. Before we dive deeper, I just wanted to introduce you to this incredible community of talented women in tech. As we all know, statistics have already shown that women are underrepresented in the tech industry. And within that group, racialized and visible minority are even fewer. So at WinTech, our vision is very simple: to create a safe and empowering space where women can network, learn, and support one another in their career towards career growth, advancement, and mentorship. We have some strategic objectives which geared towards mentorship and career fulfillment. We have workshops and seminars, which one of them is what we are in today. We also have networking and building sense of belonging, job referrals, strategic and corporate partnerships. In the past, we have done notable programs, including Women in Tech Symposium, which was sponsored by RBC. We also had another program, which was building a cybersecurity career pathway. And this particular program was also sponsored by RBC, including Black Tech. We have done several programs as well on practical Excel workshops, how to craft an outstanding resume and optimize your LinkedIn, Jira and Confluence workshops, managing stress in day-to-day life, and so many others. So in that note, I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone on today's call. And if you are yet to be a member of WinTech, however, if you are motivated in joining our fantastic community of career-driven women, then there is one of our team members will share a link in the chat. So do well to click on that link. It will take you straight to register and you become a member. Within 1 minute, you're done. Also, I would also like to, if you miss any of our sections, there are several sections that I mentioned that we've done in the past. If there are any one that you missed and you would like to review them or go back to those recordings, we do have them in our YouTube channel. You also see the link in the chat. Click on it. It takes you straight to our YouTube channel. You will be able to get yourself acquainted with some of the programs we've done in the past that can help you towards your career growth. On that note, I want to say a big thank you and have a wonderful section tonight.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you for that awesome introduction. Please, let's give Wendy some reactions. Give her some love, give her a round of applause and all of that. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you very much. I'm sure we already have some people asking to join, which is really good. I would say WinTech has been a fantastic platform. And to be honest, it's really not about, if you're not in tech, it doesn't matter. It's actually a community of women who are just coming together to help ourselves through our day-to-day lives. Like we all know, adulthood is hard, right? So any support we can get from anywhere, please, by all means, bring it on, okay? I didn't even mention, like, I'll give you an example. Me, for one, I'm not fully in tech. I work in banking. I'm a commercial account manager, yes, but I do deal with techie stuff, right? But still, I'm happy to be here and happy. I've definitely learned a lot joining this team. So even if you're not in tech, you can come. Like, there's so much you can gain from here. Okay, so without further ado, we would like to bring on board and introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today. Her name is Nkechi Nwafo Robinson. Please, a round of applause for her. Round of applause. She's right there. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much, Nkechi. You're so welcome. We're so honored to have you. Like, I know, like, Nkechi is like, she's a celebrity on LinkedIn. You are, I would say, yeah. So
you can say that
again. We're really honored to have you in our circle, right? And we are looking forward to all the valuable nuggets and insights that you're going to share with us. So I'm going to just share a brief introduction of Nkechi and just give us a view of her background. It is amazing. Nkechi is an award-winning technology executive. She has over 25 years experience in technology. Currently, she's Vice President, Technology Operations and Services and Cloud Transformation at the Export Development Canada. That's the Export Development Bank. That's like another central bank on its own. That's to tell you, you know, how much work she's doing. And in this role, she's accountable for the operations oversight of service providers that operate their technology infrastructure, service desk, and she's also responsible for the operations of the enterprise platforms under her mandate. Additionally, she has responsibility for maintenance and modernization of infrastructure, technology leveraged by the organization, data center facilities, application support, you name it, Nkechi is there. She holds a bachelor's degree in applied mathematics. Guys, did you hear that? Applied mathematics and a minor in computer science from Concordia University. She's founder and CEO of Empowered in My Skin. She's an author. She's a professional bodybuilder. She's host of Empowered in My Skin podcast and an inspirational speaker. She's received so many awards for her leadership prowess, community development, and most notably, recently, she was WXN Most Powerful Woman Canada Top 100. Okay, and as founder and CEO of Empowered in My Skin, she leads the mandate that focuses on self-empowerment, helping humans everywhere thrive daily. She aspires to help 1 billion people think in empowering ways. She's a firm believer that empowered people empower people, which is the catalyst to create a sustainable change in this world. Please, sounding applause for Nkechi. That is so much experience in this room, guys. Can you feel the energy? Welcome, Nkechi. We're so glad to have you. I don't know if you want to say a few words before we get into it.
I will say great day, amazing ladies. And that was my mic check. So I see that you're nodding and smiling, which means that you can hear me. So that is awesome. And I would encourage all of us as much as possible to turn on our cameras if we can and are able, because that is engagement. And I think a lot about what we are going to be talking about is really, I'm going to hold us to the fire about how we choose to show up and how we choose to really come with our best selves, which at times could be vulnerable. Nobody's here judging. We all judge ourselves the most. So I encourage everybody, honestly, to line up the Hollywood squares and so we can see expression and nodding and connection. It's awesome. And if you can't, then that's fine as well. Just so listen in the way that you can. So I know what first question I would love you to ask me. I know that we never planned that. So transparently, we had a conversation. They were supposed to ask me questions, but y'all did your affirmations. So I want you to ask me what mine is.
Please, what is yours?
So I am covered by the shadow of the Almighty, and I'm also born to win and designed for accomplishment. I'm engineered for success. I'm endowed with the seeds of greatness. I'm industrious. I'm enterprising. I'm innovative. I'm creative. I am a place where the infinite expresses. I create amazing experiences for myself and others. I'm actually bellwether. I'm a place from where the infinite just brings me plentiful on a daily basis. I'm intoxicated in gratitude. My life is magnetic. My joy is contagious. My passion is irresistible. And when you get me, which tonight you get me, I'm an exceptional human. And I am loved because I am Nkechi. I am God's gift. And I'm really happy to serve in the presence of God and all of you today.
Okay.
That is incredible.
First of all, I'm happy that this call is recorded because I'm definitely going back to that. Oh my God, that was so many affirmations in one. No wonder, no wonder, no wonder. That's all I'm gonna say. No wonder. You know, I started with it because I know how much difference it makes. I know how we always get pumped up by just saying these things to ourselves, right? Nobody's gonna say it to you. Say it to yourself first. Like that self-awareness, that self-affirmation, that self-acceptance is the first thing, the first step to focus into starting your day and everything. And that was amazing.
Can I build on that? Because so I don't know if she's on the call, but I will share a funny story that happened in a minute. But I've been doing affirmations since I want to say 2014. And the very first affirmation I gave myself permission to say in the mirror was, I'm phenomenal. And it was really Dr. Maya Angelou that I got that from. And then I just dared to look at myself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. Because all I heard when I was growing up was that I was ugly. And I believed that. And so doing the math, I was like 42, right? And so for me to like start to express that I am beautiful. But here's the thing. I heard an incredible thought leader. It must have been it was either Alonzo Van Zant or Lisa Nichols. And they said that, you know, whatever affirmation you don't believe about yourself, I want you to go and say it in the mirror and stay there until you start to believe it. And so obviously I didn't stay there that one time, but I, you know, every single day I would get in front of the mirror as I'm brushing my teeth and I would just say, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. And I don't know when it actually became what I embodied, but that's what happens when you start to speak to yourself, is you start to embody the person that you are desiring to be and to become. And so, I mean, science will tell you that some people struggle with believing the affirmation, or that something needs to exist or be present for them to be able to believe what they're saying. And then there's also science that would tell you that whatever it is that you want to become, say it to become it, right?
Yes.
And so I'll never forget the day that after saying it for quite a bit of time, my husband and I FaceTime each other typically, you know, and I remember calling him and I was like, and he answered on the FaceTime. He's like, oh, babes, you look so beautiful. And it was just so random because I just remember the day he said it. And I remembered, wow, like I didn't ask for it. I didn't solicit. And then suddenly that has just become the moniker, right? Most people meet me and they say, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And to the point now where I'm like, this is true. It's actually true.
Yes.
You know? And so, and I will tell them that's a really true statement, you know, and I own it. You know, as women, we were talking about it in the office today, like, I don't know why we don't own our greatness more.
I know,
you know, and love was another one. Like, I am loved. And I remember my mom, Nigerian woman, typical. Maybe some of your mothers never said I loved, like never. It was
they never, but they do.
I did not hear it. I did not hear it. And as a result of that, you know, plus hours and dollars of therapy, you have to unpack that, right? Not hearing your mother who birthed you tell you that you love you will wreak havoc in your relationships, in your workplace, and, you know, everything, right? Until I decided that it doesn't matter if she loves me. What matters is if I love myself. And so I just started to really love myself because I know I started my relationship with God and I knew that God loved me. And I just started to say I am loved, to the point where in 2017, I was preparing for, I asked my mother if she would come to one of my Empowered in My Skin events, because I was watching So You Think You Can Dance. And you know how they, before
Yeah.
the person presents, they share a little short video. And in this particular video, this guy was talking about his mother who had passed and that she'd never seen him dance. And no, she'd seen him dance and she'd been at every dance, everything that he ever done. And this is really one of the first times that he's ever stepping on stage and she's not there. And I remember sitting on the couch and watching that. And what was true for me is like, wow, with all that I do, playing soccer, competing, everything that I do, like my mom has never been in the audience to watch or cheer me on. And so I called her. I think I might have texted her. Actually, I don't want to lie here. I texted her and I said, Mom, I'm having this event. It's March 27, November 2017, will you be able to come? Or July of 2017. No, it was in July, it was November. And she said, oh, well, if I don't have my church, then blah, blah, blah. And I left it. I said, God, until one day she confirmed she was coming to Toronto. I was like, okay. And then I started practicing my speech, right? My talk that I was going to give that night. And I remember in my family room, I was speaking and I said, my mother is here today, right? And I would point out to the left-hand side. This is a true story. The day of the event, I was busy because I'm the organizer and bustling around, and the volunteers that were there helping me. My girlfriend, my mom came in because she was staying at the hotel with me, and she sat my mother. It was random seating, okay, not assigned a seat. Anyway, so now comes the time we're opening up the event, and I'm giving the opening speech, and I get on the stage, and I'm speaking, and I get to the point where I'm saying, and my mother is here today. And guess what? Left hand out, mother was like, that's where they sat my mother. And when I realized that I had manifested her being in the room,
yes,
I could not hold it. I walked over to her and I started to hug her. It makes me emotional now when I think about that.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry now.
And when I hugged her, my microphone was in my hand. And to a room of over 300 women, my mom said, I love you. So in a moment where I did not need to hear it, it so freely came to me. Like, we attract life. Anyway, that's part of what I know we're talking today. And so it's just so relevant to say this as a starting, but we attract life. And so all of this hustling that we do, and the push-up shoulders and the not showing our face, and all the things we do, the judgment that we hold for others and the judgment that we hold for ourselves, guess what? You're blocking your blessing, and that was just, I had made a decision in 2014 that I was going to hold very little in. Like, I really want to live a monk life in the real world. No animosity towards anybody, as much as possible, catching my judgment of self and judgment of others, and really embracing a life where all I do is lead from a place of love and see what happens. That was it. I said, let me just see what happens. And now I'm like, what, 10 years in? And it's like, you're living your best life.
Yes.
And you just keep attracting life to you. So affirmations are such a game changer. I did a self-talk series in September. I actually, at the beginning of January, a lot of friends who had heard me on Instagram do my mantra said, oh my God, I'd love to do that. I said, okay, well, if anyone knows me, you're in. Once you say, okay, let's go to the gym. I wanted to say, okay, tomorrow we start. And so I started on January 1st, a self-talk group on Facebook. We're on day 284. Consecutive days of speaking. These people are speaking to themselves into the live or whatever, their cameras.
Yes.
And you can hear the change in tonality, the conviction of self, the how they've changed or altered their mantras to match wherever they are in whatever season of life, but still in there doing the work. Like, it's just, it's quite incredible to see. And I will tell you this, and I'm lucky I don't have kids, but even if I did, I'd like to say my husband and I get up at 4:10 a.m. in the morning. The alarm goes off. And I say, great morning. And he will not say great morning. He says good morning. He's like the only person that won't say good morning. He's like, I don't say good. I say great morning. And so I say great morning. He says good morning. And that's it. We say nothing else to each other because we have our practice is that we are the first people that like we have to speak to ourselves first before we can speak to anyone else in the world. So he goes downstairs and I stay up and I do my prayer. I open up my Bible app. I get my devotion, like the devotion of the day, get down on my knees. I do my prayer. And then I go to the bathroom. And now I have these mirrors everywhere. Yeah. And I just start. My body's rested and my mind is clear. I start my day with positive thoughts and energy. I'm relaxed, non-resistant, and clear. My day unfolds with ease and grace. People support me throughout the day. God supports my desires today. I'm open to receiving greatness. I'm energized and inspired. Creative possibilities are available to me. Nothing holds me back. I take action with faith and clarity. I'm healthy, well, and vibrant. Today is a great day. I'm having fun today. I bring joy to others. I bring light with me wherever I go. I'm a positive influence on the world, and all is well. And I'm like, let's go, Ink, you know? And it's like, I've been doing that forever, you know, like, and my mantras change. And it's just, so it's crazy. So a lot of people don't necessarily, like, I think some people know that, but not a lot of people know that. Anyway, the funny story, and then I'm going to leave you guys to really rein me in and take control of the situation. But I was rooming with Tayo and we were in Dallas at Women Evolve, and she was my roommate. And it's always chancy for me to like bring people, like most people think I'm extra. I am also very much an introvert. So I have a very tight inner circle, like people I like let in. But I was like, I can room with you, you know? So first day, alarm goes off. We slept in probably, I think the alarm went off around 5 o'clock. And I went to open up my Bible. Like I was going to do my routine because it doesn't matter where I'm at. My routine's my routine. And yo, homegirl wakes up, like bounces out of bed, sits down beside me. Oh my God, look at these pictures. My mom's in England. And she's like, and I'm sitting there and literally this is what's going through my mind. I'm like, okay, God, I need you right now. There's a human that's talking to me before I've spoken to myself. Like, I don't actually know if I'm a nice person before I speak to myself. Like, I was like, okay, Inkachi, smile. You know, we'll look at the pictures, cooing on. Just like, so afterwards I had to tell her, yo, brethren, like we don't talk in the morning until anyway, I'll let you. So that was my intro.
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. That's so like, should we end the call right now? Like, also, that was amazing. That was almost more than we even bargained for. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Like, we cannot overemphasize the impact that affirmations have on us. And you know, like, you know, we didn't even talk about it, and then to think that that's a soft point for you, it's kind of like your you know, I always like it because I know that it always sets the pace for, you know, for the rest of the day, for the rest of the activity and everything, you know. And it's so beautiful that we really touched you in a way that, you know, brought out the best in you. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Thank you so much, guys. Please, reactions, come on, look at that. Hey, reactions, everybody. I want to see hearts, I want to see claps, I want to see applause for Nkechi for the beautiful story she just told us. Like, we can relate with it so much, you know. It was really nice. Okay, so we go on to the meat of the day. Now, this call is about leveling up. It's about what are we going to do to achieve success? And, you know, like we already know, we called Nkechi here to share her experience. You know, I mean, we already know why we picked her to share our experience, right? And we would really love to hear from you. We really love to, you know, learn from your wealth of experience, how much you've been able to grow, and, you know, how we also can tow that path as well. So we have some questions that we have prepared for you, and that would help to drive engagement. It's going to be a panel session type of thing, even though you're the only one on the panel, but yeah, it's going to be a panel type of arrangement. So we have some questions that we already prepared for you, and I would just go right into it. But before I go, please, guys, can we give Nkechi another round of applause again?
Oh gosh.
That story was beautiful. I'm sorry, I cannot. Yes.
By the way, now my mom tells me that all the time that she loves me.
Yeah,
like it wasn't enough. Come on, hey, did you listen to that? And that, look at the length of that information. You say that every morning.
Yeah.
Like you're so good at it right now. It's like a part of you right now. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so we'll go to the first question. Okay, are we all ready? Do you guys have your pens and papers, everything all set? Because there are going to be some golden nuggets coming out right now. Okay.
And just so that everyone knows that I'm going to be completely truthful. One of my leaders on my team is here today. So Yasmin, I didn't even ask. I just saw her show up. And so she will be able to tell, she doesn't show up like that at work. That's no.
Oh my God.
So if I may take the stage for 2 minutes, I was going to pop in the chat and say, I am so incredibly blessed to have Nkechi as my boss. And I don't say it because she's on the call, but she is an absolute inspiration and a joy to be around all the time. So,
well, I also want, I hope we talk about, when we talk about networking, and please keep me honest, because we might, and maybe ask that question while I'm in my perimenopause moment before I forget it. But I'm going to share the story of how Yasmin and I reconnected to demonstrate the power of networking. Okay, so just remember, let's cover that, because I know that's one of the things that we want to talk about. Yeah,
I'll take a note of that.
Yasmin, we are happy to have you here. Thank you for joining in.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. Thank you. Okay, so the first question we're gonna hit at Nkechi this evening: what does success mean to you personally? And how has your definition of success evolved throughout your 25-year plus career? How's that? Tell us about it.
So, storytelling is my thing.
As we have seen already.
When I joined TD in 2011, I definitely was on a rise in my career. And what I was boasting by that time was that I had never actually applied for a job since the first time I applied for a job out of university in 1996. And so up until getting to TD, I had always been tapped. Okay, so the power of the tap. And really and truly, all I knew to do was show up, do the work harder than anyone else. Like, you could not outwork me. And really just, make the space better because I was there. And I will be honest with you, I don't even know that I had that kind of language. So I always say I'm grateful to God because he carried a character for me before I knew the character mattered, And so, in 2011, I was leaving IBM and I was joining TD, and they came and hunted me. So when I joined, the ego was big because the CIO hunted me, vendor came and hunted. I was actually in India, and I remember they started hunting me maybe about a year, and then it just kind of died off. And then I was traveling for IBM, and I was in India in this moment. And I remember a headhunter calling me back. I was almost really frantic, calling me back, saying, "Oh my God, we want to restart the conversations again. TD really wants you on site." And what I found out later on is that there had been this conference with EMC out in California, and the CIO at the time had been there, and my name came up at the table, and he said, "Wait, aren't we pursuing her? What the heck happened?" And apparently everyone got nervous because somehow the ball got dropped. And he's like, "No, that girl needs to come into our environment." And I have no idea why. I just, right. And so God knows. And so that's how I entered into TD. Right. So, and at the time, I wanted title mattered. And so I remember the negotiation was they couldn't give me title because in the bank, anything over senior manager is a titled executive. And that has to go through oh God, you put me on spotlight. Lord Jesus, okay. And that has to go through like a process and whatnot. And so shortening this a bit, I came in with like the power of negotiating, like that. If you can't get what you want, negotiate the heck out of your contract, right? Yasmin, I hope you did that too, by the way. Just anyway, just kidding. But yeah, so if you can't get exactly what you want, negotiate. And so I negotiated pretty well. And I knew, what I was promised, and that's another thing I've learned, is the people will promise you. There is no promise that's not on paper, right? Yeah. And so at that time, I didn't know that. And so the promise was that I would be a titled executive within a couple of years. So, and I knew what the role was going to be. It was going to be the AVP of availability and management and overall encompassing like all of the IT service management for the entire organization for EDC, for TD. So long and short, I kicked ass. Like I came in there, I did exactly what they needed. Plus I just delivered and I created a brand at the same time. And I did it doing something that people in tech don't like, which is process and governance, right? Like I was responsible for maturing their IT change management process at the bank across 9 lines of businesses at the time. And I kicked ass. I did, that was a really proud piece of work that I did at TD. And I did that for 2.5 years. And then the role became approved. And I remember I was like, why isn't anyone talking to me about the role? Like nobody. Yeah. And it was like as if I wasn't supposed to see it. And then I noticed that it was posted. And I'm sitting like, how are they posting my role? Right? Yeah. Like, and nobody's asking me about the role. And yeah, so all of that quote unquote promise that the role was mine, here it was posted. Everyone that had promised was gone from the bank. I had a new leader at the time. And yeah, I would say that he did not want to give me that role. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. And so I had to figure out, remember, tapped until that point in time. I call it the God tap. When he's ready to move you, he'll be tapping. And so I had to apply. And so I will also say this, life, in my opinion, there's an ever-present stream of flow. It's available for everybody. If you don't feel in flow, I don't think you are in purpose. I don't think that is what is intended for you. That's just me. Anyway, this is language I have now, did not have that then. But what I could tell you is I was not in flow. I was angry. My ego was bruised. I felt offended. I couldn't believe I had to apply. I was like, what are they I was like, what if I don't get the role and I have to report to somebody else? Like all of those type of things, right? And then I had a girlfriend who tapped me at the time and said, I don't really like that attitude. Like that seems like that's not the way to, that's not a really great attitude. That's kind of stinky, And she introduced me to this book called A Return to Love. And that book is by Mary Williamson. That was the catalyst for my personal development change, my growth. And then at the same time as my role, as I had applied, figured out how to like post the role, I got shortlisted, thank God. It was down to 4 candidates. Then it was down to 2, me and this other amazing, I'm going to call her amazing human because I owe her that, because then I was not saying amazing human. I didn't know who she was and I was talking bad stuff about her. I didn't even know it was a her. It was just, I was talking bad stuff about another human. And then I got tapped. I got tapped by, it was actually a Black leader, and it was going to be a lateral move. But here's the thing. It was a tap that would take me from, if anyone knows technology, here everyone knows technology. Usually I'm talking to people about the story that don't know technology. Anyway, y'all know technology. So I was in the data center. Like I was hugging servers. So it's very hard when you're in the data center hugging servers for people on the business technology side to see you. This tap was pulling me out of infrastructure to business because he knew I had great operational strength. He thought I had great leadership, transferable. They wanted me to come there and run all of their application management services. That tap took me to a conversation with the CEO of TD Insurance at the time, the CIO, sorry. And she said, if you want the job, it's yours. That sounds familiar. The other one didn't sound familiar. So I would say riddled with fear, because I have to be honest, there was fear that I wasn't going to get the role. So, and then there was excitement about this opportunity. And so I took the opportunity and I took myself out of the role. Okay. And for 2.5 years, I worked for TD Insurance. And in that period of time, I always call it the wait time. I didn't know that. I know it now. God works in your wait. Success is built from your wait. And I did the work. I didn't know I was in wait. I just knew I had a really great opportunity. I was actually in Montreal where I had a lot of trauma and I had a lot of work to do to release that trauma. At the time, my mom was not telling me that my parents lived in Montreal. My mom was not telling me at that time that she loved me, you know? So I had all of that stuff to deal with. But it was what my friend had said when she's like, I don't really like that attitude. Like, that's not the attitude. Like, that's not coming from a place of a good heart. And that's when she introduced me to that book. And that book taught me that I was approaching life from the wrong way. And it taught me that love is success. Love is success. And the more that you can show love and receive love, you are living in success, right? And it's just so simple. And love looks like so much things, like, because when you love and that becomes your vision, everything about what you're doing feels successful, right? Everything you get to look at everything from a vantage point of success. And I'm looking around because I see success riddled throughout my room here, even though that's the only, but like the accolades I have on the wall, the pictures that the paintings, expensive paintings that I've won, you know what I mean? Like when you open up your eyes to live from a place of, so that's what started to transition for me. I started to feel I was living in my success because I was serving others and I loved what I was doing and I was growing and I was ridding myself of the pain and shame and frustration and stuff that trauma had deposited from years ago, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so, I did that work for 2.5 years. And I remember I was traveling back and forth to Montreal for 2.5 years. And a lot was going on in my life at that time, marriage challenges, everything, right? But then 2.5 years of doing all of that work, I started to feel so much lighter. Like I remember, like by that time, my husband had gone and I had gone through that time, our marriage challenges, and we're coming out and communicating more better. And I remember telling him one day, I was like, babes, I feel like I'm levitating. Like I feel so light. That's what love does. That's what success. That's why I say that's why I feel like success is not a title. It's not a position. It's not a title, like a position title. It is a position in life. You position yourself in the space of success, right? And then successful things happen and come to you. And I remember feeling that. And I'm like, but I don't want to just feel this by myself. I want others to feel it too. And that was around the time when I made that declaration that I was going to fire myself from TD as an employee and hire myself deployed to TD. So I fired. My mental state was, TD's not hiring me. God's deployed me here. And months after that, I met the president of TD Bank in a mentoring experience that they had where 300 women submitted and they shortlisted down to 20 people. And my name was apparently in that pool. And I was the one that got selected to meet with Barrett Marzani, and he mentored me for 6 months.
Wow.
Him and I. And so that happened. And I started being invited to speak at mentoring sessions and this, that, and the other. And so I started in this place of service because I think in your wait, whatever it is that you're waiting for, serve.
Yes.
Serve is a form of success.
Yes.
And then one day I was in Markham, 105 McNabb. I was sitting down and I got this random call. And his name was Daryl. He's a VP at the time. And he called me, he says, "Hey, Ink." And he was the VP now in the old area that I came from. He says, "Hey, Ink." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yo, that AVP role has become available. Would you like it? It's yours if you do."
Wow. Amazing.
And I share all of that because like by that time I'd shed title. And even now you can't ask me like what title I want to be in 5 years. I could tell you what impact I want to be having. I could tell you what I want to be true in my life, because from the eyes of success, I'm now looking at who I want to become, and yeah, so that's that I think you attract it. And I think it is whatever you define it to be for yourself. And I think that when you feel it, you're in flow. Does that make sense?
Makes so much sense. Makes so much sense, Nkechi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So many nuggets that we got from that. The power of negotiation, very key. If you don't get what you want, then you negotiate the hell out of what they're offering you, right? Yes. And then of course I remember you said there's always a flow, and you will know when you're in the flow, right? There's always a flow, when you're in the flow, and while you're there, be ready to get tapped and be ready to recognize when your tap comes, things like that, like so much. And of course, success is built from your wait. While you're waiting, just do the best that you can, show up and show out and make your impact, make a difference. And for sure, it would be noticed, like you said. And
that's right.
Another thing I gained was you had so many episodes where you had to have a change of mindset. Your mindset had to shift, and everything is what you make of it. So you had to say, okay, no, you know what? I am not an employee of TD. I'm a consultant of TD. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do what I was brought here to do, and that's what we always want to have in our minds. So thank you so much for all of that. Now to the next question, which.
So I want to make sure that was understood, because everybody can do it right now in their workplace, right? And even at EDC tapped me, right? So I've continued to be tapped, and EDC tapped me there. But now I have all of the experience to realize that it's God who's placing me. Like God definitely demonstrated it was time for me to leave TD, and I deployed, and he said, it's now time for you to go and deploy to a new space, right? So we deploy ourselves. Yeah. Not employed, we deploy. It's a very different mindset that you sit from, because every meeting, every voice note, every conversation, every interaction, every project, everything that you're in, that you are doing and called to that work. And it's your duty to make everything that passes by you better because it did. Right. And versus the attitude of an employee who walks out of a meeting and says, "Oh God, that meeting was crap." Right. Such a long work day, or again, I'm so upset that I didn't get this and I didn't get that, and I'm not getting promoted here and I'm not getting promoted there. I'm like, no, deploy yourself. Deployment is the key to finding flow in your work.
Got it. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Thank you. Now, my next question, which seems like you probably already answered it, but now we've talked so much about success, right? And you have said that love is success. Was there any time, or maybe right now in your new role in the EDC or in any area in life, have you had to change your definition of success just to maybe to fit your next step, or what you're looking to achieve, or the next phase in your life? Did you have to kind of like tweak your perception of success, or is the same way you have seen it from the beginning is how you have been carrying it all the way?
So yeah, I would say that once I made that switch over to like I said, I think it's once I made that switch over, that you get to define it for yourself. And for me, it feels like I'm in flow. Like earlier this year, something really happened in my personal life. And I recognized that I was shook. And when I started to think about so it took me months to get to this realization and the understanding of what I'm supposed to learn from this experience. But once I recognize that, oh, I'm not on home plate, again, flow, right? Home plate is where you flow from and you attract life to you, you know, otherwise you're in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, your decisioning is hampered. You're not operating truly from a place of clarity. And the way that you make decisions and the things that you do are all compromised, right? So you want to recognize that about yourself as quickly as possible and then try to get yourself back onto home plate. And again, when I'm on home plate, I attract success. You understand? Like I attracted this experience this evening. This to me is a part of that successful journey that I'm on in my life, you know? So, and nothing gets left out of the equation. So yeah, I'm locked into that.
It's kind of like a moving train. As you go, you just make the best of it and ensure that whatever you see, you're just living the moment and you're being your best at all times.
And I think for anyone, and love doesn't have to be that success compass for you, right? Like, but what I would encourage everybody is like, don't make it something that's outside of you. And certainly don't make it something that you need to attain before you can feel it. And so if anyone is in that space right now, I'm going to challenge you that maybe that's what you needed to hear today to start to change your perspective. So success should not be something that you need to get to in order to feel it. And it shouldn't be dictated by something that's outside of you. Otherwise, when you just constantly will be in the survival mode or this constant quest for success.
Yes.
And I just don't think that's attainable.
Gotcha. That's very true. Thank you, Nkechi. Thank you so much. So we'll go to the next question. In your experience, how important is self-awareness? You know, knowing your strengths and of course, and bringing those strengths to achieving, you know, what you have identified as, you know, a place where you say you are successful. So how important is self-awareness in attaining, you know, in getting to that point?
Oh man, it's everything. So, okay, so where I am right now with self-awareness is not where I expect everyone to get. I'm not even in the seat of it in a way that it will not move me, you know, but it's like my desire. So the level of awareness that I want to get to is I am. So when I start to say I am, this statement, I am the one who sees. I am the one who sees. From in here somewhere, so in me somewhere, I am the one who looks out. And I'm aware of the events, the feelings, the emotions that are passing before me. So I am actually in the seat of consciousness. And I'm in that level of practice right now to the point where I will be in a meeting and something is happening and I can see how whatever it is that was just said or whatever's happening has connected with me. And now I'm observing myself and how I'm interacting with this moment. Sometimes I'm quick and sometimes like I react and then I'm like, shoot, I stepped out of awareness, right?
Yes.
So here's the biggest reason why awareness is so important, because so many of us humans in this world of 8 billion people are walking absence of awareness.
Yeah.
We need the best kind of life that you can live for yourself is one where you walk into the present moment. So this right now, what I'm saying right now is in our present moment. Once I've said it, it's gone. And then there's another present moment and there's another present moment. So stepping into every present moment and don't let it hit stuff. And so what that means is like, let's just say you walk into a room, I'm just going to use like a networking or a gala event. Okay.
Yes.
You walk into a gala event, you're all dressed up, you're all dolled up, and you spot the ex-boyfriend. And suddenly you're shook up. Like maybe you have to run to the washroom and you're suddenly thinking that you're not dressed and sexy enough. You wish you'd lost 12 more pounds. You think that your hair wasn't right. All of this stuff. And guess what? All that happened was you were fine.
Yes.
You saw another human who you had a past with, and they've rocked your world, right? And so the opposite is you walk into that room, you see someone that you know and recognize, and you do one of two things. Doesn't faze you.
Yeah.
Maybe you go and say hello. You know what? But it's like, it's just, oh, he's here this evening.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even in front of me. I can tell you of a recent situation where I knew I had to, I knew, and here's the thing, like, we are human. So these things will hit you, it's fine. But it's how quick you can recover. That's the key. And how much you can prevent yourself from reacting until you've had a time to assess, to bring awareness to what it is that you're feeling. And so when you start to feel your physiology change, I will be honest with you, something hit you. It's not that somebody said something that bothered you, is that you are bothered by what they said.
Yes.
Right? True. So think about how much we complain about rain, snow, the weather. And let me just tell you something. The weather, the rain, the snow, they're just doing what they're supposed to do. Snow snows, rain rains, right? Like wind blows. Like those are the God designed those things to do those things, not to bother us, but to do what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
And yet
they'll have their
allow
roles,
the rain to bother us, to ruin our days, to ruin our vacations, right? So it's not about the thing in front of you bothering you. It's about you bothering yourself about the thing in front of you. It's not that somebody said something that bothers you. It's that you are bothered by what they said because it connected to something that felt familiar and unresolved within you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think this is kind of like related with being intentional about everything, right? So, you know, like what they say, you are the one that allow things to happen to you. Anything that has happened to you is because you gave your consent. So it's left for you to choose how you're going to react to certain things. That's kind of like emotional intelligence, choose your reaction, because like what you said, everybody has their role to play. Everybody is in the room for something. So you make the best out of the situation. You let it work for you, right? And that's all about being intentional, being self-aware, and making sure that you are, like you said, I am in this room, and everything that is here is because I have allowed it to be, right? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Do we have like reactions, guys? Look, I need reactions. I need hearts. I need claps. I need everything, because Nkechi has just been like, she's just been dishing it out for us this evening, right?
I'm gonna just add something, because I think it's also important. If there's anyone that is inspired, and here's the thing, like, I know that there's how many people? 44 people on this platform. Well, 43 besides me. I love y'all, but I'm not actually after you, right? So remember what they said in my bio: empower people, empower people. So I'm actually more excited about the next person that you get to speak to. Because if I move through you enough, well, guess what? You're going to empower the next person you come in contact with, right? And so that is what multiplies. That's what multiplies this moment. And so we all have the decision to think about what we're taking from this experience to add to our toolkit. I'm not trying to change lives. I'm trying to help elevate, increase, and leave you in the space of increase, so you can go and increase somebody else's life. But it's a journey, and things are going to happen. And so the question is, how much are you going to allow that stuff to continue to deter you and defer you from what God has in plan for you to do in this life, right? Like, and it's okay in this journey of self-improvement to ask people to just honor meeting you today. Because you will come across people, when you meet them, you know that they're meeting you from a past experience. And yet you're doing the work. And that's okay. Take a pause and say, hey, I invite myself. I like to reintroduce myself to you.
Got it. Beautiful words, Nkechi. Beautiful words. Next question. We're gonna speed it up. We'll take.
What time is it?
We would go to, it's past 8 o'clock. Yes, time flies.
My bedtime. No, just kidding.
we're gonna touch on the networking part now, right?
Okay.
What role has networking and building relationships played in your career growth? And and how can we effectively leverage the power of networking? Please take it away.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm not quite sure where people are with their networking journey. They might be at the infancy of networking. I'm going to say it's going to be about simplifying it for yourself and not thinking that it's this really daunting, horrible task. And then on the, I'm going to say on the mastery side of networking, I call that super connector. So that's where I probably am in my life right now. I network with the intention to meet people that I can introduce to other people. So my desire is to be a hub of connection. And so, and as a hub, that means I have more availability to help people that come to me without me having to be the one to help them,
Yes.
And so I have seen so much more value that way. Like I pick up, CEOs and people hiring. And so that when people come looking for jobs, I'm like, I don't have a job, but send me your resume and I'll shop it around in my circle. And so the infancy of networking, it's really about simplifying it for yourself. We are human beings. You probably have already experienced that. Oh my God, I was just thinking about you. Or you call somebody out of the blue and they're like, I was literally just about to call you. Or you get that feeling like, I felt like someone's name comes up suddenly. So the point I'm trying to make, and maybe this is a technology thing, is we're transmitters. We are constantly transmitting. So we are actually a live and breathing network. That's the way I see it. I network everywhere. Everywhere. When I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Everywhere you find my human, like I am transmitting. And so I leave nothing out. And some of my best connections have been met in the most unusual of places,
Yeah.
And so so that's number one. Number two, if you're not great at networking, I mean, these days it's so much easier. Just go on ChatGPT and just, ask AI to give you 6 great intro questions that you can use in a networking experience. And science will say that by the time you ask another human 5 or 6 questions, you will have created a connection. Because networking is really just about creating connection in a meaningful way, right? And then there is, depending on the person that you met, then there is the work to nurture and cultivate that relationship. I will say that one of the things that does still challenge me is people I've never met or met once. I'm going to say more so never met. And I just reach out and either ask me, can you be my mentor, or, can you help me find a job? Right. Like I have no connection. Like it is hard to refer somebody that I have zero connection to. So the first thing you always have to do is establish a connection. And then the other thing I would also say that why it's so important, and I think COVID really showed this, and this is where Yasmin comes into play, is that your networks you create today are never for today. They're always for a time in the future. So what you wouldn't know that we didn't share is that Yasmin and I worked together at Rogers, which was from 2000 to 2009 for my time. So that was however long ago. It's a long time ago. Okay. We lost touch after we kind of split ways and this, that, and the other, but I've seen her. We connected on LinkedIn and this, that, and the other. And it wasn't until this February that I reached out to her. I had her number for some reason on my phone. And I texted her and I think I said, is this number still good for you? Right, Yasmin? Hey, Yasmin, is this number.
That's exactly it.
Like as if we never, like the way she's like, it's like I never, like we never, like it was like the same excitement that we had back in 2000, 2009 to like, and then I said to her, hey, I'm looking for somebody at Loblaw. Can you help me? That was kind of the connect. And then we shared a couple of texts. I think we might've gone on the phone and spoke. Yeah. And then that was it. And then maybe a month or so later, maybe about a month, I posted a role on LinkedIn that I was hiring.
Mm-hmm.
And she texted me. She's like, hey, that role that you posted on LinkedIn. And I just want to say this because I'm the one that's blessed to have Yasmin on my team. Okay.
Wow.
She's my first external hire because I acquired her leadership team. So she's my first, like, she's remarkable. Remarkable. My
Give it up for
successor.
Yasmin.
I hired my successor, which gives me such pleasure because it means I can go on and do greater and bigger things as well, right? And when she hit me up, I actually incorrectly thought, why, you have somebody? And she's like, me. And I'm thinking, are you sure? Like, want to come work for me? Like, and I was like, are you sure? Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, let's just talk about the role. Let me just, and even after talking about the role, she's like, no, I want to come.
Yeah.
I've read about the company and blah, blah, blah. And the joke is the sidebar. This is just a side joke. She had to go through a couple of panels. So she went through the director panel. And I remember they hit me. They're like, man, if you can get her, like, if we can afford her, like, bring her on, you know?
Yeah.
And then she had to go to the panel.
Wow.
And so there was 3 of us, me and my peers. And I remember we had a chat open. And at one point they're like, sorry, why does she want to come work here? So all throughout, again, I always do believe you're not interviewing for a role. You are in the position of giving them an opportunity to hire you. That's a way more empowering position than the one that we typically show up for, scared, nervous, hoping we get the job, desperate. Like, no. If they've reached out and scheduled an interview for you, guess what? They want to see if they can hire you. And so you need to show up with the swag of, I'm giving you an opportunity to hire me. Yeah. Anyway, so Yasmin definitely wowed everybody. But I share all of that because the network we created was back in 2000 and 2009, 2 decades almost.
20 years ago. Yes.
Right? And now we're back working together.
Oh my God.
You get what I'm saying? So your networks are never for today. They're always for a time in the future when you need to have it activated. And that's what happens is that if you don't, guess what? When you need something, you are going to feel desperate. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel isolated. You're going to feel like you don't know where to go. But when you have a big, massive network, guess what? You just put your network to work and it works for you. Your network is your net worth. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, please. So quickly now, still on networking, right? What active steps can we take? Because we all know the value that networking can bring and everything. But to be honest, it's still up there in the horizon. It's still like hazy for everybody. What actions can we take on a daily basis that would still contribute to us building connections and building network? All we know now is you send a cold email or you do a LinkedIn connection or something, but that's where it is. Like, how do we take that first step to the next level? How do we actually activate that connection and make it a part of my network, make it work for me? How do I activate that connection, right? Especially with strangers, because now everybody's online on phones and everything. So how do we go from being from the chat room, from the message, to actually making it an active connection?
So I don't know, there's so first of all, hands up, like, who here is a master networker? Like, who here feels like they can network? Like, just put your hand up. Like, don't be shy. Like, just kind of put a hand up. Like, how many here people feel they're a master network? Or yeah, Yasmin, yeah, clearly. And who here feels like they're at the infancy and they're trying to learn and get better at it? Like, just hands up. Even if you're on camera, hands up. Okay. So if y'all trust me, and if you I'm a little bit unorthodox, right? If you get to know me, I'm a little bit unorthodox, but I do have a very common thread to helping humans just really advance life. And I always say, keep it simple, uncomplicate it. How many people here network with themselves? Okay. So I love how this goes back full circle. Networking with yourself is your daily affirmations. right? It's starting to make yourself a living, breathing, walking and energy that attracts life, that brings great things into the presence of, like the world and every single thing. And it really starts with how you feel about yourself. If you want to see magic happen, I know some of you are like, I promise you, I dare you. Like I said, we're on day 284. 284 self-talk. And things for some of those people in the chat have opened up because they're networking with themselves on a daily basis. They're attracting life to them. So I'm just saying that's just the Inkechi tip. It always starts with you. Because I guarantee you, if you're not doing that, well, guess what's happening? You're feeling very nervous when you walk into like maybe a networking room. You're shy. You don't have an elevator speech. You're feeling timid. Maybe you're using disempowering words, right? Like, but imagine if you've done the work, and when you walk into that room, you know that whatever is going to pass by you is going to be better because it did. Well, guess what? Like, there's people that are going to want to say, oh my God, can we exchange numbers? Like, you know what I mean? Like for me to be on this phone, like for me, I've networked so much that I've earned the right to meet her who comes on my phone. If I wasn't doing that, I would be hungry to get other people's number on my phone. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so you have to build that. And so before you can go and talk to other people with ease and grace and no desperation, well, guess what? You have to talk to yourself with ease and no desperation.
That's true.
Does that make sense? Even because I can come and tell you the classic things that most people will tell you, but I'm trying to give you something different that you maybe have never tried before. And I promise you, start to network with yourself. Make that easy to do. And life and ease will come to you. And then on top of that, then there's tactical things, right? Like start to realize that every opportunity is an opportunity to network. So whether you're in a meeting or team meeting, like just ask a question. People like to talk about themselves, whether you like to believe it or not. Be curious about hockey. Be curious about golf. Be curious about all the things. Like nothing should be out. Like stay in the space of curiosity. I think being insatiably curious about life, and especially about yourself, but about life, oh my gosh, it's golden. So arm yourself with questions. Ask questions. Cultivate relationships. And before you ask of anything, be willing to give of yourself first. And then I would also argue that start to reframe everything. Even if you're getting ready to go for an interview, see that as a network opportunity. Right? It's not an interview. You're just going to connect with another human about a role that interests you. And they're also looking to bring in somebody who's interested about the role that they can hire. It's another point of connection. So remove networking if networking feels daunting and just say, I'm going to create more moments of connecting with myself. I'm going to create more moments of connecting with others.
Golden words, Nkechi. Thank you so much. Ask questions, be curious about everything. Network with yourself. That is a new one. I haven't heard it like that before. Network with yourself, and like we've been saying from the beginning, self-affirmations. That is a form of networking. I mean, just so people don't think we're crazy, it's okay to talk to yourself sometimes. Just encourage yourself. Say,
I didn't say it before, and it does make me emotional when I think about it, but if you don't talk to yourself, then you're actually not telling the world you're not giving the world the language to use to talk about you. or to share about you or to, you know, and the world's going to ascribe something to your human. I know I lived it for 42 years. When I flip that, you know what I mean? Like, I tell myself I'm an energizing bunny. Well, guess what? People call me an energizing bunny. You know what I mean? And I don't, and, you know, and so I just, like, you have more power than I think you think or imagine. And I'll close with this. There's a book, A Return to Love, that I told you changed my life in 2014. And I've read that book at least 5 times. I love it. Marianne Williamson. But it's the quote in the book called Our Deepest Fear. And it goes like this: our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. And maybe close your eyes and take this in, because this is for you. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. There's nothing enlightened. You're not meant to play small. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others do not feel insecure around you. You were actually born to shine. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is in you. And it's not just for some of us, it is for everyone. And when you allow your own light to shine, you unconsciously give permission to others to do the same. And when you're liberated from your own fear, your mere presence will automatically liberate others.
Please allow me a moment to take that all in. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful, Nkechi. We are all born to shine. So let your light shine so that others can see the wonders and the goodness of God. Don't be afraid, because you are so powerful. You are more powerful than you think you are. Tap into your superhero. Tap into your superhero self. Like, we all have superheroes within us. We just need to bring it out. All the movies we see is just some simple person that doesn't know the power they have. And then they go on a discovery journey and find out, oh, I can do all these things, right? So thank you so much for that, Nkechi. Super grateful. I think on this note, it would be nice to get some questions from everybody. I don't know if any of us has, you know, a burning question that has come up during the session that you want to ask. We can take that. We can take them, at least 2-3 questions. If anybody has anything to ask Nkechi, please feel free, put it in the chat. But still appreciate, also say thank you so far for everything she has said. There's so much we have learned this evening. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Like, this is, I cannot even say in words how I feel about all the things you have said. Personally, to me, I have been so touched so far. If any of us has any questions that we want to share, please feel free to go ahead. Or if you have any comments or feedback you want to share at this time, by all means, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Awesome session. Thank you so much. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay. Okay. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Nkechi. Awesome. So many things to learn and so many things to unlearn, you know, and, you know, redirect again. Thank you so much. My question is, you seem like you've had it early. You've had your direction clear from the word go. And like you have it, like, you know what you want at time, which is awesome. But are there times that you had it very blurry? And how did you get clarity of purpose in those moments? And the second question is, what keeps you awake at night? What gives you that that second thought on your decisions and make you feel that, am I on the right path? How do you get results for such?
Oh,
Those are
wow.
the questions.
Wow, thank you. I hold so much space for those questions. So, so I haven't always had it all together. So that's, I do know when I got it together. So do you want to know like from a career perspective or like personal life, which,
yeah, career perspective and
career.
personal
Okay.
life.
So
We are
that's what I thought.
women.
Yeah. Cause I
Personal
think
life is
it's,
so hard to remove from us when it comes to women.
yeah.
Mm.
So, I actually thought you were I thought you were going in a different direction. So and I won't touch on this, but what I will just quickly say, like, know that your purpose is not something you need to go and get, and you don't just have one purpose, right? Like purpose is within you, and I don't think your purpose should be absent of anything that you do in life. Like I think that that is the integrator for everything that you do. So I just want to say that. And I locked into that purpose probably coming out of my personal like journey, like a little bit more definitively. And again, I kept it very simple in 2016, 2018. And then I've put a mission on my life. So, and I share that because it's the mission. So my mission in my life is to help 1 billion people think in ways that are empowering. 1 billion. And that's my North Star. It doesn't matter how I'm going to do it. Leslie, as you probably have often said, the how is none of my business. It's just that was implanted in me and I'm obedient. Okay. So as it relates to my career now, there's nothing that says I can't communicate or share that North Star in the spaces that I'm in. Again, back to networking with myself, because I'm so convicted that that is what I'm supposed to do as a human being in my life. And so I did share it in my job interview, like the networking session that I had to go to EDC. I did share. They asked me like, what is it? I said, I'm actually going to be impacting 1 billion people in this world, right? And I guess EDC is just my next stop, but when I recognized that I didn't have, to answer your question more directly, when I didn't really have, like once you give up title, I actually was floating, because in a corporate world, everything is so much about title. What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next? And then until I got it really simplified, I don't know if it was a mentor that taught me this, or maybe it was a Simon Sinek. I just had to figure out what needed to be true. And I think whatever needs to be true for you in your life is transient. That can shift. So about, we're 2024. So somewhere in the pandemic, I learned this about, don't look, because when I was trying to find a title, I could not figure out what I wanted to, like, I just didn't know what the title was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the title, I don't know what next title I want to do. Maybe it's not even created yet, right? But when I learned about figuring out what is true, that was powerful. And so Aderonke, this is what it looks like. I came up with 4 things that needed to be true for me. 1, I wanted to be in rooms where transformation was happening, because I knew that if you're not in the room where change and transformation is happening, well, guess what? When it gets announced, you're stuck in the yard where consequences are received. Right. Yeah. And I was like, I felt one too many transformation and changes to now say that, no, I want to be helping to define the change and transformation. Right. And so how do I get into those rooms? So that was 1. And the way that I got there was I became a change champion immediately for whatever was announced. It didn't really matter what it was. It changed. I was like, I'm a change champion. Didn't matter if I liked it, didn't agree with it, didn't matter. I was like, we're going to make that change work. And that eventually, that energy got me into a room where change and transformation was happening so I can help define it. Number 2, I knew that I wanted to report to somebody whom they don't even need to coach me directly for me to be coached, meaning that I'm sitting at the table with them and I'm learning, right? I'm observing them and I'm learning. Number 3, I knew that I wanted to be doing something, not a role, but I wanted whatever I was doing to be important enough that I would have to talk about it at board, a corporate board, because that means that you're doing something pretty fantastic. And number 4, I knew that whatever it is I was going to do, at the time I was at TD, I knew that I wanted to be bigger than the walls of TD. So even if I became an evangelist for something we were working on, or whatever it is I was working on required me to speak out externally or go to conferences and whatever. I just knew that I wanted it to be bigger than the 4 walls, again, because of my mission, right? And so I would say that helped me guide me to the last position I was in at TD before I left. All of those things were somewhat true, with the exception of board. and my direct people manager was not a really great human. He's not on my phone. Yeah. And so, but my role was the project was something that went to board, but I wasn't in a role that would take the update to board. Right. And then I shared the importance of that because I ended up leaving TD, as everyone knows. I resigned and I joined EDC. And what is true, I'm running change and transformation, right? Like, I think it's even in my title, right? Like, I'm the technology operations and services and cloud transformation.
Yeah.
2, my boss is amazing. Just love him. He's incredible. I learn even when he's silent. Like, he's just crazy awesome, and he's growing me. And I always say to him, like, tell me what you would say about me when I'm not in the room. Like, he's willing to, like, go in on the feedback for me. Number 3, true story. I had the conversations. Apparently, like, it was just 2. I call it my first one with my CIO now, and the second one was a C-suite bomb. I had no idea that the whole C-suite was coming to interview me, right? And then that was it. Next thing you know, they're like scurrying to help me get into EDC. And about 2 weeks after I joined, or 2-3 weeks after I joined, my boss sends me a note. He says, "Oh my God, there's a question I forgot to ask you during the interview process." And I got nervous, and I was like, "What is that?" He says, "Have you ever presented at board?" And I was like, "No, but it's on my development plan, And he says, "Because you will have to present at board." Yeah. And then number 4, I mean, I get the glory of doing things internally, externally, big platforms, small platforms, beyond the walls of the organization that I'm in. So rather than looking for a role, just ask yourself what needs to be true in a role, so that when I'm evaluating roles that come to me, I can say, what does a check that check? Like, you get what I'm saying? And then the other thing that I will share with Adama and is what I call critical experience framework. Okay, this is a gold mine, which I'll share with them to give to everybody. When you look at these critical experiences, you're going to see everything on there, like finance, strategy, risk, governance. You're going to see change. You're going to see delivery, like just the 9 boxes of critical experiences that you want to gather in your life. That was another change for me, because that enabled me to now decide what roles I wanted to do. So the critical experiences I use to say, what critical experiences do I want to pick up along the way? Because let me tell you something, on the path to getting to a platform that will help me build it, I need to have all of those critical experiences. And the way that I gain that experience is by finding roles that will help me deliver them and grow them.
Delivering that field.
Yeah.
Does that help? So much. Thank you. And thank you, Adionke, for that.
Yes,
for that
more
question.
than I wanted. I thought I could get. Yeah, it did. Thank you.
And then you said, what keeps me up at night? Well, this is a really funny question. Nothing. I do math games before I go to bed, and I dump my brain in a journal. So that I know what you mean by your question, but so that nothing keeps me up at night. Maybe I get a tease to watch them, but nothing. Once my head hits the pillow, my body says, "My God, quick, fall asleep. She's done." Right? Like, but if I were to be really, really honest with you, in my work, like really work, and Yasmin would know this, the company entrusted me with millions of dollars to help solve a significant risk that was discovered. And so working on that, and the time is ticking. It's October 10th, and we have to deliver that by December 31st, or really December 15th, to be quite honest. So that's tough, right? Because it's a risk to the organization. But if you're not doing things that bring big risks, then I just think you're playing small. And then the other thing I would say on the personal level is that I miss my mark. This, like I said, was a tough year. I was in survival mode for a number of months. Something personal really shook me. And I felt like I like I felt like I was moving away from the plans that God had for me. Now I don't feel that now. But I would say that that's what keeps me up, is that I miss my mark, that I'm not, that I'm not living at the highest truest expression of myself as a human being, and that I have blind spots that are gonna, that's why every single nothing holds me back. It's like, no, I can't let anything hold me back. Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, Nkechi, for being real. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Do we have any other question?
Yes, I think in the chat we have a question from Chigozie.
Where is that? Okay.
Yes, I can read it out for you.
Yes, please.
So Chigozie is trying to find out, how did you navigate the space where not enough people who look like you occupy? How did you navigate the space where not enough people who look like you occupy?
So that's my lived experience right now. And as you all know, I'm unorthodox. And shameless plug, I actually have done podcast episodes on this. Oh gosh. So well, first of all, I grew up in a neighborhood where nobody looked like us. Okay. So like I said, that has just been, so I don't actually know. I come from a very, very different perspective, because I don't know any different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand, what that means. And a lot of times, and I remember I was talking about it, I know, I'm not sure if Yasmin's still, but even today with the team, there are times where I see my bravery on display, because I know I'm having to raise something to a higher power, like I'm going to just say, you speak truth to power, but to a higher senior level of leadership. And I know that there's no one in that room that can understand what I'm saying from a lived experience perspective. But it is my duty, because I'm in that room, to speak, irrespective of whether it can get me fired or this, any other. Like, I have to put my life on the line. Otherwise, this will never change, right? So instead of, sort of letting that hold me back, I've given myself purpose of, when I'm in a room where there isn't a lot of people that look like me, how am I using that to help open up the door broader and bigger, so that more people that look like me can come through it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's not cool. It's great that I'm in the room, but it's not cool for me to leave that room without opening up that space bigger and better, and expressing that this is not cute, that I'm the only one in the room. And so I have taken that position, and now people just know I'm about to say it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the only woman on a tech call, I'd be like, "Great day, gentlemen." I'm like, yeah, I can say that. Y'all can't, but I can, and so, so I will call it out, I will call it out. But what I like to say is, if you want to know, again, unorthodox, if you want to know how to master that game, I dare you to figure out first, how can you be the only in a room that looks like you? Does everyone understand what I mean by that? So most of us here believe in Bible. I'm just going to say that we believe in God, right? And therefore, you are unique. There's no one in this world exactly like you.
Exactly.
And every hair on you is numbered. But we don't carry that into the spaces that we go into, right? So in a room with everyone that looks like you, I bet you I would miss you. Like, I'm not saying the women on this call, but think about it. Most of the time, I probably would miss someone. So I was like, no, in a room where everyone kind of shares the same shade as me, no one is going to be me. No one. And so getting comfortable of standing out in a room of people that look like me means that I know my purpose. Even in this room,
yeah,
I know that I'm not that I'm unique. There's no one in this room exactly like me. We might share, and we all don't even share the same shade, right? So it's about trying to figure out, like, you should stand out. And if you can figure out how to make yourself stand out in a room where everybody looks like you, well, guess what? You're going to walk into rooms where people don't look like you, and you're going to master that white man swag. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit down at that table and you're going to be like, let's go, you know? Anyway.
That was so good. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
So we're good?
Yes, we
Yeah,
are. We
we're
have
good.
one last question for you.
We're good, but
Okay,
because of time,
question.
Because of time, because we have already shooted above the time
way above.
So please, because of time, we might not entertain another question.
This is the last
no. I mean,
question.
I have one.
Okay, you want last question?
Yeah. I was already going to shut down the questions from the floor.
Okay.
So I already said we're going to just take like 2. So we've done that already, and you have done justice to the questions. So just one last question for everybody. That's from me to you, for everybody to just kind of like round up things. Okay. Looking forward now, what new skills do you believe would be essential for anyone aiming to level up or to, redefine success for themselves in their career today? I know you already talked about the critical experience framework. That is also, that will also be helpful. But what other skills do you think that would be necessary and it's essential for us as tech women and everything, and just to, like you said, stand out and be unique in every space we find ourselves?
So you all are very, very fortunate, because literally last week, I had such a, like I said, life attracts, right? Like, my boss nominated me earlier this year to be part of Deloitte's Next Gen Tech Leadership Academy. So it's like a CIO academy. And my God, 3 days at Deloitte office downtown Toronto, just wow. Like, just the access, like I'm actually trying to figure out how I'm going to create a leadership academy after that, because I'm like, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint that people that look like me are not getting, because I was just me and Alan Charles, another Black human in the room. And so I was like, how do I create that and make it more accessible for my peoples, right? So stay tuned.
Yes, we will stay tuned.
No, seriously, like, it's already in the works. So literally stay tuned. And so my first Academy Day is April 19th, 2025. I'm just looking for a venue. If anybody has a venue suggestion in Toronto, send it to me, please, because I'm on the hunt for a venue, but that's the date. But the leadership skill that they shared with us for the next gen tech leader is so the predictors of success are time, relationships, and team, right? So it's just really learning how to manage your time effectively. So making sure that you're doing the right things, the team, the people that you have around you, right? And the relationships that you're building and cultivating. But then they said one of the biggest skills that people are missing that are not, that the next gen tech leader needs, freaked me out, because even today, this week I met with my CFO and he talked about it, followership. I didn't know that going in. So I'm sharing something like followership, your ability to be able to learn and to be led. Imagine that, because we are in a time where everything is changing so quickly, and lots coming at us, that we have to master that skill. So remember, build up, start being better, learning. Predictors of your success are going to be time, team, and relationships. Okay. And it's like, you can put them in concentric circles, right? Like, they kind of all fit together.
Yes.
And then the middle would be success. And then the big skill that you want to really start to hone in on is followership.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure.
Ability to learn and be led, and time, team, and relationships. Golden words. Thank you so much, Nkechi.
No problem. Invite me back.
Yes,
this was fun.
It was fun, and it was such an insightful session. Thank you so much for everything. You are a fantastic storyteller, by the way. Like everything, there was a story to back up every every philosophy and every teaching you had. You're like, okay, I'm going to tell you something.
So you want to know, you want to know the truth. You want to know what I'm working on? And I'm just sharing this more vulnerably. So, I'm proud to say that I'm on the rise at EDC, right? Like, and so there's accelerated development programs that they put people into, you know, for next level, like for this. So that would be like SVP. Who would have thought? I would never saw that coming in like 2 years ago. Anyway, so, but the feedback I've received is interesting because I love to tell stories. But I'm not great. I'm trying to, I had my leadership coaching and I can't remember what she said yesterday, but so I need to learn the story I need to tell at EDC. And so my boss, like the feedback is really trying to take what I'm doing in technology and connecting the dots to the business and then telling a compelling story that makes people help understand because that's what has been observed, that she comes with the energy, she builds up everything around her. We know she's leading the team and they're creating outcomes, but she is not the one that's expressing her knowledge of the work that's being done, but we know she knows it, but she's not, and so I recognize it's just, it's a timid, like it feels, I don't know, like there's something that I need to unblock there. So I'm working on it. And I discovered somebody from the Next Gen Tech who has a podcast on telling stories. He's brilliant and I'm a great storyteller, but why am I limiting that skill in my workplace as it relates to the work I do? So yeah, invite me back and maybe 3 months from now, put me on the hot seat to make sure that I've made
that you've learned something. I mean, that's a learning point. It just goes to say, I mean, there's techniques to everything.
Yeah, storytelling is another skill. I cut you, I don't, because storytelling was another skill that was mentioned at the storytelling. It's important.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
good to know. Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know. Because I mean, like every networking session, otherwise called interview, every networking session is actually a time to tell stories. Like, you know, they always say back everything up with stories. So by all means, storytelling is a technique that we definitely should learn, because I mean, we here have what, 10 years of experience on the average, 15 years of experience. What is the worth of that experience if you can't tell it, if you cannot communicate it, right? So for sure, definitely. Thank you so much. Please, we need feedback, because you all cannot tell me that you have not been delivered from this from this session, and there has not been a spirit that has descended upon you.
Awesome.
Oh my God, it has been wonderful having this. Please, everybody, I want to see my heart. I want to see my applause. I want to see my claps, because words cannot express how we feel about the session. Words cannot express how grateful we are for Nkechi honoring us with her presence and sharing her nuggets. And permit me to say, being very, very vulnerable. Like, you know, we connected with you. We were able to feel you. Like, we were in the same room with you, to be honest. Like, every time you were speaking, I was like, wait, I could already visualize everything you were saying. How can they possibly say you don't tell stories well? That's just word. Please, I need to know who said you don't tell stories properly. But I mean, it has been such an amazing time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, let's give our feedback to Nkechi. Please tell me how you feel. Tell us how you feel in the comment section. It has been such an amazing time, and I wish we could have you every month or every week or every or every time, but unfortunately, you know, this is all we can get now. But I'm sure this is enough for us to take the next steps in our lives, in our career. I'm sure we have more than enough, you know, to at least call ourselves to order and say, hey.
Look, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Just invite me back. Don't ever hesitate. I would love to see y'all. I love to come back and hear testimonies So invite me back for testimony Wednesday or whatever it is. And
yes,
testimony
please,
Thursday, sorry. And let's just hear how you use something from today to just, propel yourself forward. So I'd love to come back. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. We are going to do that. And thank you so much, Nkechi.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
If you don't mind, can we connect with you on LinkedIn? I mean, that's our first step to connection. We want to build our network with Nkechi in it.
Sure. Do you need my link?
Yeah, if you don't mind, you can share your LinkedIn in the chat, and then we can just all send connections. That is our active step to taking this networking thing very seriously. So please, by all means, if you don't mind, do share.
And for inspiration, check out the podcast.
Yes, we will, for sure, we will. I mean, if you're not able to send the link here, just we can send it over and we will share it on the group, on the chat, because I'm sure there's definitely more based on what we've heard. This evening, there's definitely more we can share.
So what happened is that, Nkechi, if you are not opportunity to share it at the moment, we can as well get it across to everyone that joined this section. So
we can
follow you through. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We love you. We love you, Nkechi. Thank you so much. On this note, we say thank you to everybody that was able to join in the session. And before we go, we just want to have vote of thanks from one of our admin members of the WinTech team. She would just like to share words, thanking you for coming. So Ifetayo, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Adama. And man, I must say it's been amazing. I've just been grinning and smiling throughout this session. It's been an amazing session. A lot of things to learn and unlearn. Nkechi, I have to say a special thank you to you. Your words were empowering, to say the least. You provided us with profound insights that has challenged our mindset, because a lot of things has to do with our mindset. You gave a lot of nudges today that has shifted our thinking. Talked about power, positive self-affirmation, that success is built in our weight. As frustrating as waiting is, success is built there. Taught about being living and breathing network. You taught us to be unique and be bold enough to stand out. Those are very profound words. And I will say thank you for everything you've done here today. And to everyone that came today, your presence just is a testament of your commitment towards your personal and professional growth. I hope that everything that you heard today and learned today, you're going to implement it. By the time we meet again, there will be a whole lot of testament from this event. Thank you once again, Nkechi. Thank you to the organizers and to everyone that's been here that has made this event very impactful. God bless you all.
Thank you, Ifetayo. Thank you. We cannot say thank you enough, to be honest. We cannot say thank you enough. But yeah, that's it. So that's about it from my end. Wendy, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say before we
go ahead. We're done. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So from me personally, thank you. And from everybody, we say thank you for your time. Thank you for having us. Thank you for all the words. I'm sure we're going to leave this call today empowered.
Thank you.
Empowered, and we're going to contribute to that 1 billion number. You're going to get there in no time. Yes, you will get there in no time. Okay, so on that note, okay, everybody have a pleasant evening. Please share your feedback on your various platforms. Connect with WinTech, connect with on TikTok, on LinkedIn. All the links are in the chat. Connect with us and let's continue this engagement. We have more webinars planned. We're working on getting more, we want to make this consistent, and we're going to ensure that we keep we keep dishing out value at every opportunity that we find. We keep empowering ourselves. We want to be empowered. Be empowered so you can empower somebody to be empowered.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. All right. So from me, it is good night. Okay. And good night, Nkechi. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, good night,
you.
everyone, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes. Have a good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Everybody have a wonderful long weekend.